No heroics into Sandoval, please.
Cheers, Jeff.
Hey guys, it's James here. Welcome back to another F1 2020 My Team Career Mode video. We are here for episode number 7 of season 2 at the Monaco Grand Prix. If you did miss the last episode in Spain, be sure to check that one out. It was a pretty exciting race, even though we had absolutely no pace and were scrapping for P18 for most of the race. But make sure you check out that video because it was a very eventful Grand Prix. But we're here for Monaco. Obviously, we haven't scored points for the last 3 races, which is quite frustrating. Some of them have been our fault, some of them have just been bad luck, but the car is always improving, so we're looking to get some good results soon. We're probably due a really huge haul of points, but we're just going to advance time now towards qualifying for the duel in the Formula 1 crown at the Monaco Grand Prix.
Our new parts have been completed without issue. They'll be on the car ready for the next race weekend.
So here we are then for qualifying for the Monaco Grand Prix, going over and checking the setup. Obviously the highest downforce we can possibly go on the game for this circuit because it is Monaco and we need all of the downforce we can possibly get. And this is my second lap in the middle of qualifying. So I did a third lap after this, which was pretty terrible as we head through Sandoval for the first time and blast up the hill. So that's why there'll be a little cut towards the end so you can see me on my end of my third lap. Just seeing where we end up at the end of this lap because the third lap was really, really poor. But the first section's not been too bad. The last corner ruined our first lap, meaning that we were pretty close on the delta to this one through the first corner. Into the hairpin now, trundling around at about 28 miles an hour. It's so difficult through there, and then we head towards Portier trying to go as wide as possible, and we bunted the wall, and that meant that we've taken a little bit off of the front wing. Obviously simulation damage on this career mode, meaning we have lost some of the front wing, and 3.5 tenths up the rest of this lap is going to be massively compromised as we're going through the Nouvelle chicane. Try and get a good exit out of here as we head towards to back. But obviously look at the understeer through to back without a left-hand side of the front wing. That is so frustrating. We've lost basically all of our advantage through the second sector that we gained at the hairpin. But we're breaking into Rascasse, where we got such a good overtake on Antonio Giovinazzi last year. Heading into Anthony Nogel, we've got a much better exit out of there compared to our first qualifying run. So where is it going to put us as we come across the line here in Monaco? 15th. Pretty disappointing because we cut to the end of our third lap there to see where we ended up. We ended up 15th. But George is in 16th, so maybe the car just really isn't that quick around here. Obviously the chassis isn't that great, and we're improving that all the time, but we're 15th tomorrow.
A proper road race, and in the true meaning of the word. That was how Mr. Monaco, the late great Graham Hill, once described this iconic event. The cars we drive have come a long way in the intervening half century, but still we race on those same public roads beside the Mediterranean Sea. There's no victory more coveted than that of the Monaco Grand Prix. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Alexander Albon will lead us away from pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Bottas, Daniel Ricciardo and Leclerc, Vettel, Perez, Kvyat and Carlos Sainz. Norris, Gasly, Lance Stroll and Magnussen, James, Russell, Romain Grosjean and Antonio Giovinazzi, Ocon, Latifi, Raikkonen and Guan Yu Zhou. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
So here we are then for the start of the Monaco Grand Prix, going over and checking the strategy. We're going to do the alternate strategy and start on the hard compounder tyre and then go to the mediums. But we're going to go to 5 red lights for the start of the Monaco Grand Prix here in Monte Carlo. And it is lights out, and away we go. Magnussen swings across immediately. We have to go to the left-hand side of the track as we're going side by side into the first corner. We go round the outside of Kevin Magnussen. He tries to fight back into Saint Devot. Everyone's got through there cleanly as Gasly and Stroll are still going side by side up ahead as we climb up the hill. It's a 40-metre incline here as Gasly and Stroll are still going side by side through Massenet. Who's going to yield first between the two of them as we have to brake earlier for the Casino Square, and that compromises our exit down towards Mirabeau. Those two are still side by side as we're looking to go for a dive bomb. We need to get past one of them immediately, and they're still side by side heading into the hairpin. It's such a fascinating scrap between the two of them. Who's going to come out on top? Stroll on the softs, Gasly on the mediums. So you'd think Stroll should have the extra grip, but the AlphaTauri is very, very nippy around here. They're still side by side heading into the tunnel. It's such a fascinating battle on lap 1 here. Stroll has got the advantage at the moment, heading towards the Nouvelle Chicane, which is one of the two main overtaking opportunities here, as we're still under a little bit of threat from Kevin Magnussen, but we do fend him off, and we still have a full front wing as well, which is very important, especially after the earlier accidents we've had previously in this season. It's important we've still got a full front wing as we head through the swimming pool S's for the first time, looking to get the best possible exit, but we are on the hard compound of tyres, so our race will come to us towards the end of the Grand Prix in the last 15 laps or so. This first long stint is just about keeping with the likes of Gasly and Stroll up ahead and making sure we don't tumble too far behind as we're heading through Saint Devot for the second time. 6/10 behind Pierre Gasly. We cut to the end of lap 3. Gasly has been able to stretch out a big advantage as Kevin Magnussen is still putting a considerable amount of pressure on us, as George is also still in his starting grid slot of 16th position. We need to try and get past some of these guys. Obviously, it's very, very frustrating. Monaco bouncing between the barriers means there's no real overtaking opportunities except Raskas, but then you really need to have a huge pace advantage. Cut to the end of lap 6, we have closed up a little bit to Pierre Gasly. The gap was 2.3 seconds at the end of lap 2. It's now 2.0 seconds on lap 7, so perhaps those medium compound tyres starting to go off a tiniest bit, but Monaco is the circuit with very, very little tyre wear. As we cut to the end of lap 9, we've closed up a lot to Gasly. He's been held up a lot by Lance Stroll. We almost try and go side by side through the exit of Raskas there, but he does get the better of us, which is a little bit frustrating. We head now towards the end of lap 10. There's been a huge train which is held up by Danny Kvyat. We try and go around the outside of Gasly at Raskas, but again, we're just a tiny bit too far back. We didn't quite get the traction out the second half of that corner. We stay in 14th position. Cut to the end of lap 11 now, onto lap 12. We're up into 7th place because of those who have pitted. Alexander Albon is in the net lead of this Grand Prix. He's made his first pit stop, and then the likes of the Mercedes cars and Max Verstappen will follow behind. Cut to the middle of lap 14. We're up into 4th place as Alexander Albon is just behind Lando Norris for the lead of the Grand Prix. Alexander Albon is absolutely flying. He came out to the pits a full pit stop ahead of us, which is very, very mightily impressive. So he is in the best position. We cut to the end of lap 20. Lando Norris and Pierre Gasly are going into the pits, meaning we're going to inherit 2nd place in this Grand Prix. I mean, we're basically just hoping for a safety car at this point, because we could strap on a fresh set of the medium tyres and go to the end and virtually lose no positions. But the problem is we need a safety car to come out for that to happen, and it is very, very unlikely to cut onto lap 22. Here comes Valtteri Bottas into Saint Devot, but we fend him off. It's very, very difficult to overtake into the first corner. Max Verstappen making a brilliant move on Pastor Maldonado in 2015 is the most recent example of a brilliant overtake into Saint Devot, but Raskas seems to be the best overtaking opportunity on this game. We cut to lap 23. We're holding up the train that goes all the way back to one of the Renault cars in 6th, but we're coming in for our pit stop now. It's time to strap on a set of the medium compound of tyres. We're going to drop massively down the order, but we will be on a fresh set of rubber and looking to attack. We're also going to need a new front wing, because somewhere along the line we picked up front wing damage. I didn't see that. The team has probably replaced my front wing for good reason, but when editing this footage I could not find a spot where I clipped the wall and took off some of the front wing. But that means we're going to come out of the pits in 17th place. We'll be side by side with Romain Grosjean. Are we going to get ahead of him out of the pit lane? It's still side by side, but he just about gets the better exit. But onto lap 24, we cut towards Raskas. We're still going to try and go down the inside of Grosjean into Anthony Noja. He just about gives us the room. We've got the DRS though, we've got the better traction, we've got the favourable line, and we're up into 17th place. We're 5 seconds behind Kevin Magnussen, which is very, very important as well. We just swept down the inside of Grosjean, and then on lap 27, we're closing up to the back of Russell. We've gained that 5 seconds very, very quickly, and it's a purple first sector as well, just showing how much we are absolutely flying around this circuit. We've got so close to George at the hairpin. These fresh medium compound tyres working an absolute treat. Cut to lap 27, we go to Raskas, we try and swoop around the outside. We're a bit too far behind, but we try and go through Anthony Noja, get the best exit possible, open up the DRS. We're in the slipstream, we're using overtake mode, but we're probably just a little bit too far back to have a go on our teammate. We cut to lap 28 though. We're going to go for it down the inside of Sandoval, just like Max Verstappen did to Pastor Maldonado in 2015. We're up into 16th place with a move down the inside of Sandoval. We're now off to chase after Kevin Magnussen, the Dane. Obviously, he started ahead of us on the grid, made a very aggressive move right off the start, but it's now time for revenge. We're going to swoop to the outside of Raskas. He has to leave us the run. We're going side by side through there, just like we did to Giovinazzi last year. We swoop around the outside of a car at Raskas, and we're up into 15th place, but the next up is Antonio Giovinazzi. He is the next target, and remember, we made such a scintillating move on him. We can't quite go around the outside of the hairpin, but you remember that move last year on Giovinazzi. Surely we can't do it again. That was on lap 30 of 39, but we're on lap 31, getting so close to the Italian Alfa Romeo driver. I'm going to put the replay up of last year's overtake that we used, because it was such a brilliant pass. Look at that, we swept around the outside, got much better traction on our fresh soft compound tyres it was there, around the outside, used a bit of the curb, but heading into Raskas, surely we're not going to do the same thing. Giovinazzi gives us space again, we swoop around the outside into Anthony Noja, we ride the curb just like we did last year, and we're up into 14th place. What a brilliant move that was. It was absolutely picture perfect compared to last year's move, and we're up into 14th place. We cut on to lap 32. Lance Stroll is 2.4 seconds up the road. He started on the soft compound tyre, then moved to the mediums, a bit like we did on our strategy last year. We decided to use the hards this year so we could lean on the tyres a bit more and basically stay out as long as possible in the hope of a safety car. But that safety car has not come, but we are catching up to Stroll at a rate of knots. We are coming so quickly. We've gained about half a second in that first sector. And now we are just 6/10 behind the Canadian driver as we head through the swimming pool S's into the second half of the S's. Look how much time we've gained. We're going to probably try and move at Raskas. We swoop to the outside of Lance Stroll. He does give us the space. He sees us coming. We try and go around the outside of Anthony Noja. We've just about found the room to get past the Canadian driver, and we're up into 13th place. Another scintillating move, and Carlos Sainz is next up to overtake on lap 34, looking to go around the outside of Raskas, but we're just a little bit too far back this time, and he is being held up by Danny Kvyat. We've had many a scrap with Kvyat in our time in Formula 1, and this will be no different if we can get past Carlos Sainz, and we've got plenty of overtake and rich mix to use. It's just finding an opportunity, which is the hardest bit. Lap 35 we go. We're chasing after Carlos Sainz, still looking to go to the outside of Raskas. We swoop to the outside this time, but he doesn't quite give us the space that Stroll did, and we have to back out of that manoeuvre. The team want me to go to the pits, actually, because I was asking Jeff something, and I clicked full race update. We click pit stop instead of full race update. We try and swoop to the outside of Raskas this time. We're going side by side with Carlos Sainz. Can we go around the outside? Yes, we can, but he gets the better exit though. Unlike on most of the other cars, they haven't got the best exit out of Anthony Noja. Sainz got a better exit, and he was up into the 12th place. We're still in 13th. We try and go to the outside of Raskas on lap 37. But we're a little bit too far back, and so we stay in 13th place. But we're getting there slowly. We might have a couple more opportunities to get past the Spaniard. We're going to need every single opportunity we can get, though, as we are really struggling now. These medium tyres have gone off. We cut to the last lap of the race. It's going to be our final opportunity to get past Carlos Sainz, but we bump the wall, and that's probably game over. We're going to have absolutely no front downforce. We bunted the wall in the absolute hope of getting past Carlos Sainz, and we're going to come through the final corner of Anthony Noja and come across the line here in Monaco in 13th place. A bit frustrating because we had such good pace, but we just got stuck behind the McLaren car.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams. and they're certainly proving themselves. So let's review the updated drivers' standings. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Some amazing talent out on the track today. But Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
I think for driver of the day, I'd probably pick Lando Norris. He lived up to every inch of his reputation today, and I think he'll be going home, quite rightly, a bit proud of himself.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, Renault move up the table with another strong performance this weekend. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for the next one.
So that was the Monaco Grand Prix. A bit frustrating that a points drought has continued. We need to start scoring consistent points again if we want to be the best midfield team, which was the objective for this season. So it's quite frustrating that we still haven't scored. And obviously the car wasn't actually that great in Monaco this time out. But still a pretty fun race, and good to get some really good pace on those medium tyres as well. But guys, if you did enjoy this episode, make sure to like the video, subscribe if you are new around here and you want to see Season 2 episodes every 3 days, and I will catch you next up at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in Baku. Later, guys.